Hi guys. Sorry that I'm not there today. I've got the flu, but you've got Sarah, so you're in great hands. I'm gonna try and keep this sort of short because I'm gonna sound terrible. Also, there's probably gonna be a puppy coming in and out, so apologies for both of those things. But I'm super excited to have all of y'all in class again. I really wish that I were there to meet y'all, but I should be in on Friday. I'll just stay far away from y'all. But we're just going to go quickly through the syllabus so that you sort of know what's expected of you in this course. And then we're going to get y'all out of there so that you have some time on FDoc. So if you could all pull up the Sakai page for this course, that would be great. And if you get that pulled up, you'll see that there's really not much going on in our Sakai site. I don't love Sakai. So we're not going to use it all of that much. So the main things that we'll be doing on Sakai is submitting assignments here in the assignment tab. There's nothing listed here right now, but for most of your assignments, there'll be a place to turn them in right here. I'll keep attendance here. You're going to submit, so assignments will be for your major assignments. Homework is going to go in forums. We'll cover all of this again. You'll be able to see your grades here. And a few resources are here in the resources file. I use Sakai for copyrighted stuff that I don't want to put up on Google Docs, but for the most part, we're going to use Google Docs for everything in this course. So you can get to our Google Drive from this main page. There's a link to the Google Drive folder for the course right here. And there are also direct links to the syllabus and the course calendar here from the main screen. So if all of you will go to the Google Drive folder, you can just click on the link right here. Nobody should have trouble accessing this because right now it's turned on to anyone who has the link can access it. I'm going to have all of you, as part of your homework, either create a Gmail account if you don't have one or set your UNC email to work with Google Docs. I don't really know how you do that, but a lot of students have done that in the past. And I figure y'all are more tech savvy than I am, so you can figure it out. But you're going to need to be able to access Google Docs. And once the class gets going, I'm going to set this so that only people who are in the class can see this folder. Okay. So once we get in here, I want to go through this so you know where everything is. You'll see two main folders. One is course documents and one is Unit 1 lessons. As we go, there are going to be 3 units in the course. So you also get Unit 2 and Unit 3. The lessons is just sort of daily activities, daily things we go through. The main folder for the course is going to be course documents. And if you go in here, this is where you'll see the syllabus for the course. You'll also see the assignment sheet. So this is sort of like the descriptions of the main assignments you'll be working on in the class, and a course calendar, which we'll talk about once we get to it. So first things first, we're going to go through the syllabus together. I've got it pulled up right here, but if you could all click on it, that would be great. Sorry, guys, for the coughing. Okay. So my name is, I didn't say that, I don't think. My name is Lanier. It's kind of a weird name, so it rhymes with chandelier, if that's easier for you to remember it. Sarah can clarify how to pronounce it if you're having troubles. But yes, my name is Lanier. You can call me Lanier. No need to call me, Professor Walker, because I'm certainly not a professor. I'm a graduate student. But yeah, Lanier is good. And I mean, obviously, you should know when this class meets by now. My office is just upstairs in Greenlaw 311. So my office hours are going to be Tuesday, 2 to 4 p.m. If that doesn't work for you, you can always get in touch with me by email, and we can set up another time to meet. I can't really overemphasize the importance of office hours. I'm not saying you have to come to them, but I am saying that it's highly recommended that you come to them if you're struggling. I'm more than happy to talk with you about questions, sort of give you some individualized attention. The nice thing about this class is it's really small. Particularly, I mean, most writing classes have 19 students. Ours is even smaller than that, which is great. It means you'll get more individualized attention. But in class, I sort of need to teach to the sort of general level of the room. The nice thing in office hours is that I can really focus on where you're struggling. So I really recommend coming. The students who come to office hours tend to do better in the course. So that's office hours. My email address is there, and my cell phone number is here as well. I don't mind if you text me. I mean, please don't text me constantly. But if you have sort of like some sort of last minute emergency before a paper is due or something, and you're worried I'm not going to respond by email in time, you're totally welcome to text me, and I'll probably get back to you faster that way. All right. So let's get into talking about the course. Here's sort of like an overview of, what I hope you're going to get out of this course, my goals for you. This is, as you know, writing in the law. And so we're kind of in a funny class because this is sort of, I mean, obviously this is your freshman writing class, but it also is a legal writing class. And so we're going to be doing stuff that's very different from what your peers are doing in their regular 105 courses. Everything we're going to be doing is going to be focused on the law, and you're going to be, working with terms and documents that you have absolutely no familiarity with, which is going to be probably a little bit overwhelming at first. At least it has been for students in the past. But that's okay. Don't feel like you need to know anything about the law at all to succeed in this course. You really don't. We'll go over everything. Oh, that said, I actually haven't checked the survey. But if you haven't filled out the survey that I sent out, you should have. So please do that. You might have all filled it out, but please do. So anyway, back to this. So we will be working with the law, but this is also your freshman writing course. So writing is really going to be our focus, and we're going to be working on stuff that should transfer out from this class into sort of regular college classroom assignments. And so the idea is that you get sort of a specialized approach, things that, might introduce you to whether or not you would like to work in the law, but at the same time, it's not going to be too specialized so that like nothing you do in this course will help you and down the line. That's not what I want. My main priority in this class is y'all. I'm not teaching this because I want to sit around and like show you these documents. I mean, I think they're cool and interesting, and I do want to show them to you, but what I want is for this class to be useful for y'all and for you to get something out of it. So if you ever feel like you're not getting something out of it, if it's not feeling useful to you, please do let me know. Because you're the ones who are supposed to benefit from this course, not me. That's my priority. So I have here a list of things that I'd like for you to get out of the course. You'll see that there's sort of an emphasis on genre here. And the idea is that if you're able to understand a genre, sort of go look at a document and say, all right, what conventions are being used here? What are the values of the audience, the author, etc., that you really should be able to succeed writing any sort of thing that you're required to write, no matter what discipline you're writing in. So we're going to work on that. And we're also going to work on research skills, analysis skills. We're going to do some public speaking. Your final project will have you give a presentation. And we're going to do a lot of sort of revision of your own work, your peers' work. And finally, don't know why this random stuff is here. We're going to spend a lot of time in the first unit on sort of critical reading and writing skills. Spending some time on working on how to read legal documents because it's not necessarily the easiest thing. And I think working on how to read, it's not something you spend time on after you're in like second grade or something, right? But it's something that's really worth spending some time doing. So two things to know about this class. One is you are going to be working in groups a lot. Lawyers work in groups all the time. It's you never have a case alone as a lawyer. You always have associates working with you, partners working with you. So this really is going to model what the real profession is like. And the other thing is we're going to take a process-based approach to writing. And the idea here is that sort of writing is a process, not a product, that over time your writing can always improve. We're going to be drafting. You're going to receive feedback over and over again. You're going to evaluate each other's work. And that should show you, a good sense of how your writing can improve, but also emphasize the fact that writing is actually a cognitive process that you think while you write. It's not just something that you sort of like plunk down on your professor's paper and then it's over. So in terms of things that you're going to need in class, the Tar Heel Writing Guide, we will be using this, but you definitely don't need to bring it to class with you. I'll let you know when you need it, but don't like bring it every day. You need to have a laptop with you and pen and paper. That's kind of it. Okay. So technology, please don't use your technology in class for like random stuff. It's going to be important to stay on task, especially in a class that's going to be moving as quickly as ours. Sarah can tell you, English 105 classes move really fast. We're required to give y'all 9 assignments in a semester. I mean, you are just going to be writing all the time. It's just not to overwhelm you, but it is to say like you're just going to have to pay attention. It moves really fast. Like you're going to have something due next week for me. And so it's important to pay attention in class. Also important to check your email. You're always free to email me with questions. Definitely don't hesitate to do that. But I do ask that you just sort of check the syllabus and check your unit assignment sheets before you get in touch with me. I had this one semester where students were just like constantly emailing questions that were like very clearly in the assignment sheet. And so if you email me a question that is just like blatantly laid out somewhere, I might not respond to it given on how like obvious that answer is for you to find elsewhere. And that's really just to encourage you to like, be a grown up, do some looking for yourself. Also, yes, that's just a basic of being grown up. But for the most part, feel free to ask me questions. I will get back to you. And I'm also going to post a course contact sheet on Google Docs once I'm actually in class, so that you can share each other's contact information, because you will need to like have the contact information of your group. All right. Office hours and conferences. So I mentioned my office hours and that the time, Thursday, 2 to 4 p.m. You can always email me. You're also going to have 2 mandatory conferences throughout the year. We will go over those later, but basically you have to come to them. That's what mandatory means. So this is just saying that. Classroom environment. We will, I try not to share my political opinion in this class, but you are more than welcome to, as long as you do so in sort of a respectful way. We're inherently, by talking about the law, going to touch on political subjects. And so, we do a lot of discussion in this class. I'd like for us to be able to have, interesting discussions. And part of that is, everybody being willing to share what they really think. But it's also obviously important for us to respect one another, appreciate that we can have different beliefs, but still, treat each other as humans. So I don't really think I have to say this, but it's in here nonetheless. Also, if anybody like goes by a name that's not in your course roster, we're going to go through everybody's like pronouns, names, everything once I get back. Okay. Next thing, big thing, plagiarism. So I just want to reiterate, and I will say this over and over. I guess it's not reiterating because I have not said it first before, but so I will iterate now, that it is always better in every single circumstance in my class, in any class in college, to turn in something late than to plagiarize and turn something in on time. It's always better to get in touch with your professor and ask how to cite something than not get in touch with your professor and just like make up how to cite something. It's always better to submit an incomplete assignment or, it's always better to submit an incomplete assignment than a plagiarized assignment. All of those things are better than turning in something that's plagiarized. Just don't plagiarize. It's not going to do well for you. I've had to take a student to the honor court before, which is not something that I wanted to do. But, like, don't turn in a copy of the New York Times article as a paper. God, sorry, excuse me. So this applies to all of your work, not just drafts. I mean, not just final things. So, like, if you're turning in a feeder, that needs to be cited too. It's not just your very final unit projects, and we'll get to what I mean by that in a minute. So everything needs to be cited. Draft should be cited, everything. I'm required to report students to the Honor Council if I think there's an issue. I mean, does that mean, if you're confused about citing and that comes across my desk and I can tell, and, whatever. We'll be reasonable about things, but plagiarism is something that I take seriously, that the school takes seriously, and we're going to spend time talking about how to avoid plagiarism, but please do not plagiarize in this class or anywhere else. Yes. Okay. So, next we've got a non-discrimination policy. This is standard on every syllabus. You'll see it everywhere. But if you feel like you're being discriminated against by me or by someone else, please let someone know. Hopefully you don't feel like you're being discriminated against by me. Accessibility wise, if you have any accommodations or anything like that, definitely make sure and get in touch with me. I have accommodations, so, I get it. Okay, resources. So the two main resources that I want to highlight here, one is CAPS, which, you are second semester freshmen, so you have probably already heard about CAPS. But this is sort of like the mental health service on campus. And then the second is the Writing Center. I'm not sure if any of you have been to the Writing Center before, but it is a great resource for writing papers. And we'll talk more about this too. As I say here, I strongly suggest that you visit the Writing Center. No matter how confident you feel about your writing, their tutors can help make your paper and projects even stronger. Yes, I wrote this, so that is how I feel. And then this is something to emphasize here. If you need help, ask. And I really mean that. I am here for y'all. This course is, it's really a priority for me. Please do let me know if you feel like you're falling behind. I'm always here to help y'all. I want you to succeed and do well in this class. So please always get in touch if you're struggling with something. Okay. So attendance. So the attendance policy here is fairly strict, and it just is. Sorry. So basically, you get 2 free absences, and after that, an absence is going to result in a reduction of your final grade, so like your whole course grade, by 1/3 of a letter grade. So if you had an A, it would become an A minus. And that's just because this course doesn't work when people are gone. We do so much sort of group work, peer review, things like that, that you need to be in class. So here's the way that the university defines excused absences. So like if you're on a sports team or something, that definitely is an excused absence and it doesn't count. It's not going to count against you. Obviously, sort of like disability, religious stuff, and then a significant health condition. So if you're sick in a sort of significant way, please get in touch with the dean. It gives me a lot more leeway to work with you, give you extensions, things like that. It's just much easier for me if I have an email from the dean saying like so-and-so got a concussion than if I have like a random thing being like I'm sick, because UNC Campus Health no longer gives out any sort of doctor's notes or anything like that. So yes, if you have a significant health issue, that's definitely the best route to go. No matter what your absence is, if it's excused or unexcused, This is just the writing course policy, not my own. If you miss 10 classes, it's an automatic fail. And that's just that's across classes, no matter which one you're in. Okay, and we can talk all about this once I'm in class. Also, if you have questions about anything here, I should add, you can ask Sarah, and she can also get in touch with me and I can clarify. So I know I'm powering through this and not giving you time to ask questions, but at the end, do ask Sarah and she should be able to clarify. Okay, please don't be late to class. I might mark you absent if you're more than 10 minutes late, especially in a 50-minute class. That's just that's a fifth of the class, so that's a lot. And so my big thing about absences is that it's your responsibility to make up for what you missed. It's not my responsibility to get in touch with you after you're absent and be like, hey, here's what we did. Here's what you missed. That's on you, right? You're grown-ups. You're in college. So if you're going to be gone, A, you need to let me know. B, and no matter what reason, excused, unexcused, anything, you need to get in touch with me. B, you need to follow up and figure out what you need to do to make up for your absence. So that's all on you, but that's what you need to do. And if you are missing class, it's still on you to turn your assignment in on time. Okay. Late papers and late work. Homework and drafts that we are working on in class are always due at the very beginning of class. And assignments are always going to be due at 11:59 p.m. On the day that they're due. So essentially, if something is due, excuse me, something is going to be due Friday, essentially midnight Friday, 11:59 p.m. on Friday. So you're going to submit everything through Sakai. Like I said, homework is going to go into the forums box. Assignments will go into the assignments box. I'll show you this once we do it the first time. Generally, I don't do extensions, but if you have some sort of extenuating circumstance, like the ones I mentioned here, severe illness, family emergency, get in touch with me as soon as that happens, and we'll figure something out. Late work, the penalties here are listed out. So if you don't come to class with, a draft or your homework for that day, you'll lose participation points. And again, I'll show you this once I'm back in class, but basically, half of your participation grade is just coming to class with your homework. It's a really easy way to get a good participation grade. So you'll have a point for every single day in the class. And as long as you just start out with all of those points. And if you don't come to class with your homework or draft done, you just lose a point for that day. A late feeder loses a point for every single day it's late, including weekends. And then a late assignment goes down by a third of a grade. After 2 weeks, I give it a 0. You should not be turning something in 2 weeks late, obviously. Okay. Participation. So, participation, y'all don't need to be told how to participate, but it's going to be really hard not to participate in this class. All of my students in the past in this course have been great participators. People tend to be interested in this class because I think the law is really interesting. I hope you agree. But mostly we'll be looking at cases that are just, our first unit is going to be sort of themed around free speech, which tends to be something that people want to talk about. And after that, you'll have the choice of what you're working on. So participation shouldn't be much of an issue, but, please do participate in the class. That's part of your grade. Again, we can talk more about this, when I'm back, but if you have questions on what participation means, Sarah should be able to address that as well. She teaches English 105. So, yes. All right. here is just sort of like a way the grades are going to break down. So you'll have 2 feeders before each unit project. So all of the feeders together, all 6 of them are 20% of your grade. Each unit project will be 20%, and then participation is 20%. So it's pretty clear grading right here. And then I have below sort of major due dates. I also have right here, this is how I want things to be submitted. So instead of like writing them for each assignment, it's just here. Times New Roman 12-point font, 1-inch margins. Nothing about this is non-standard. So right now I have the due dates listed out. I will just go ahead and tell you up front that these are going to change. It's all based on sort of how things go in the class. If we find that we need more time, last semester things were crazy with like the snow and the hurricane and whatever, so everything got messed up. This is what I envision for now, but I expect that at least something on this will change. Okay, so that was a very quick overview of this. And what I want you to do now is just click on this link that says course calendar really quickly. So this is what we're going to use sort of every day. And this is where I post what we're doing each day, where you have the homework. Everything is sort of going to be on this document. And if you scroll down, you can see I have like things sort of like sketched out, but not full done yet. But for today, we've done syllabus and course overviews. We're going to very briefly talk about Unit 1, and then I've got your homework here. And so this is going to be a document that's important for you to have access to, and it lives in the same folder as the syllabus, in the main sort of folder for our course. So your homework for Friday is to get sort of Gmail sorted out. And then B, I have 3 videos that I want you to watch. The guy is really annoying, and I apologize for that, but they're good videos in that they just are like, they get to the point about how the legal system works. So, they're all pretty short. So if you could just watch those, that would be great. As I say here, we're going to talk about it in a second. You might want to take notes on these videos. We're going to go over and review some of this information in class. But the biggest thing that I want you to do is come in on Friday with questions, like things that he talked about that you've never heard of before, things that you didn't understand that he said. That's really what we're going to focus on Friday, because a lot of people in the course, from the survey that I looked at so far, again, like I said, I haven't looked at it since everyone filled it out. But it seems like most people have taken at least a government course before. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time going over things you already know. So what I really want to get a sense of is, what did he talk about that you just was totally new to you? Okay, so for Unit 1, basically the first month, what we're going to be doing, our final product will be what's called a case brief. So basically what you'll be doing is taking a case, a Supreme Court opinion, and writing what's called a brief. This is not a brief that you submit to a court, but sort of like a brief that you would turn into a senior partner at a law firm or something like that, where you break down the essential elements of a case. It's almost like writing a summary of the case, which sounds really boring. But you'll be using the summary that you create to then do a little bit of analysis about how you might use that case and apply it to this sort of hypothetical legal problem that your law firm that you're, hypothetically working for is faced with. So before we get to that, you're going to have 2 assignments. The second of those assignments will be working with another Supreme Court opinion, analyzing its tone. We'll go through all of this in depth. But the first is going to be an in-class quiz. And this is really just to make sure that everybody's on the same track about, how the legal system works. Previous students have sort of asked for something like this instead of the assignment that we used to do, because I think people maybe didn't end up understanding the legal system as much as they thought they did. So now I will force you to. So we're going to talk more, like I said, about the legal system. I mean, you'll watch these videos. We'll go over it all in class. This quiz isn't meant to be a surprise. So I'll give you a sense of what I think will be, or what is going to be on it. So the quiz will probably be about 50% sort of questions about how the legal system works. And the other 50% will be giving you a case you've never seen before and having you just sort of like identify its parts in really obvious ways, which you don't need to know. We haven't talked about like what a holding is, what an issue is, all of those things yet, but that's what you'll be doing. So it should not be too difficult once we go through all of those things, but you should know when you're watching your videos for homework that it's sort of leading up to this quiz. So, yes, that is sort of everything that I have for you. Hopefully I did not talk way too fast in this. It's weird to teach to a computer. So to reiterate, for Friday, definitely ask Sarah if you have questions about the syllabus, or email me or hold on to them and ask me on Friday. We can spend some time going over anything you want to. And then make sure to watch these videos and please come in with specific questions, things you don't understand, things that you've never heard of before, because that's really what I'm going to spend time on in class. So if everybody could come in with at least 2 questions, that would be great. And then also get your Google Docs set up. And that would be awesome. So right now your quiz is scheduled for next Wednesday. I think that will probably stick. Yes. Okay. So, I hope everyone is doing well and that none of you have the flu. And Sarah, thank you so much for doing this. And I will see you all on Friday. Okay. Bye, guys.